So here we are with another leg day. I'm going to be performing a standard squat. I'm going to start with the barbell above my head. Now with this squat variation, you generally want to go about shoulder width. For me, I go a little bit wider. I have wide hips. As you can see, the natural flow of my hips is outward with my feet and knees. As you're performing this workout, you want to try and get fairly low. With the barbell over your head though, you don't want to overdo it. I go beyond 90 because it's comfortable for me. I don't feel overly too much of a strain on my lower back or knees when I'm doing that. What you want to do with any squat movement and most movements in general is take a deep breath in through your nose into your gut, brace your core, and push from your feet. You want to push from the middle of your feet, and therefore you have your toes planted and your heels at all times. As you can see, I got a little bit of a weight vest on here for a little bit more weight. Now I've gone to a standard squat position with the barbell on my back. When I'm performing this, I'm keeping my chest proud and somewhat high, and I'm not putting a huge arch in my back as I'm going down. You want to allow your hips and legs to perform the movement. If I had a little bit more weight, I might not go quite as deep generally with this workout. But since I'm not doing much weight, I'm doing very high volume, I'm not overly concerned. As far as I'm concerned, this is the most important workout you'll be performing, any of the squat variations on leg day. And it really puts you into a strength building, muscle building mode, as well as increasing your aerobic capabilities too. So as always, push yourself to failure. It's a little bit harder to judge on high volume workouts, but do what you can. Now we'll be going into the Bowflex deadlifts. I just put a little bit of padding under the bar so it doesn't scuff up the Bowflex. But I got my feet about shoulder width apart and pointed fairly straight forward. I grabbed just outside that with my hands. As you can see with the deadlifts, you want your hips to do the initial part of the lift. As you can see, my butt goes backwards. And then to finish off, then I go into a semi-squat where my knees go forward. If you want to get a little bit extra out of this workout, generally I do it after back, so I'm not concerned about it. But you can actually roll your shoulders back just slightly and work your traps, your upper part of your back as well. As you can see, I go down a little bit slower, and then I try to kind of explode up. With these high volume workouts, I'm not as explosive as I might be if I had heavier weights with less reps, but as you can see, I go through a little bit of adjustments. That's something that if you can avoid doing it, do so. I find myself adjusting more than I should, and a lot of times it doesn't help you that much. So, as with squats, you want to push from the midpoint of your foot, so have your toes planted as well as your heel, and brace your core. Breathe in through your nose if you can to begin. Brace your core, like your abs, and then begin the workout. Now we're going into quad extensions. As you can see, I get the equipment in place first with my hands a lot of times. And you really want to try and focus on that squeeze at the end of the workout, because there's not too many workouts where you're going to have that ability to hit your quads at that full extension. So as you can see, it activates both the lower tier of the quad, the teardrop, as well as the outer quad. So it's a great workout all in all. And I'm happy the Bowflex came with this piece of equipment. As you can see, I don't know what to do with my hands on this workout, so I'm constantly moving them around. And then we go into our superset here. And the superset consists of hamstring pulls with quad extensions. I'm starting with the hamstrings because I just did quads. So after I perform my full sets of quads, then we go into this. And I usually do 1 to 3 sets of that, and then I go with 3 hamstring pull, 3 quads. And I do them one after another with very little break. So you can see I really want to pull in at the end there. And you don't want to fully let off tension, so I don't let it go all the way down. Really, I could let it go a little bit further, but I'm getting a hit there, so I'm not too worried about it. And grabbing the pulleys at the bottom just to stabilize myself and get a good squeeze in. And you can see here, I'm going to go right into the quads. I find this is a great way to, bridge the gap between anaerobic and aerobic sets. I take a couple seconds, but then I get back into it. Some people will take this time and very little time in between these two, and then they'll take a breather and jump into the next set, which would be, once again, hamstrings to quads. If you feel comfortable, you can start before this superset. You could do unilateral, so single leg on this machine, and I could have done unilateral quad extensions, and that way it'll work it differently and allow for each leg to get hit to the same amount. The only reason I find my machine's a little flimsy, and I don't think it's wearing on it very bad when I do that, so I don't do it anymore. And then we're gonna go into our calf extensions here. And now this one, I try to keep my feet fairly straight forward. You can see it's a little bit pointed a little bit outwards with my toes. But my natural hip flow is very wide, so if it's comfortable for you, go straight as possible for this one. And I'm just fully extending. I try to get down fairly low. The lower the better, really. And then I'm balancing. I got a little bit of balance off the wall here. Try not to rely on the wall too much, though. And you'll see with this one, when you're doing it, it tends to work a little bit more of your inner calves on the backside, so your gastrocnemius muscle. But yeah, these are definitely great workouts. It's amazing what you can do with just some steps, the workout you can get out of it. And then after this workout, I simply go into my cardio, which a lot of times is just going up and down the stairs for 15 to 20 minutes. And just keep in mind to make sure that you do, at least 1 or 2 warm-up sets and then go into your working after. And for the working sets, on most of them, I perform 3 working sets, and one of them will generally be a little bit harder than the rest, and I'll really give her on that one. But you can kind of go by comfort level. For a lot of the heavier compound workouts, I'll do 2 warm-ups, but later on I'll just do 1 warm-up set. So